A green card holder just got stopped at JFK Airport, not because of a criminal record, not because of expired documents, but because of new biometric exit rules that most immigrants don't even know exist. She thought she was traveling legally. She had her green card, her passport was valid, but she made one critical mistake at the airport, and now her re-entry is flagged in the system. This is happening right now in 2026. And if you're planning to travel outside the US, you need to know exactly what changed. In this video, I'm going to show you the new biometric exit requirements that just went into effect for green card holders. I'll explain what happens at the airport when you leave the US, what data is being collected, what triggers a red flag in the system, and most importantly, the exact steps you need to take before you travel to avoid serious problems when you try to come back. Stay until the end because I'll reveal the biggest mistake green card holders are making right now. That's putting their status at risk. Here's what happened. U.S. Customs and Border Protection, also known as CBP, has expanded its biometric exit tracking system at all major U.S. airports. This isn't a proposal. This isn't coming soon. This is active right now in 2026. When you leave the United States, CBP is now collecting your facial scan, your fingerprints, and your travel history. And they're cross-checking this data with USCIS records in real time. Now, here's the important part. This system was designed to track visa overstays, but it's also flagging green card holders who have complicated travel patterns. Let me explain why this matters. If you're a green card holder and you've been outside the US for extended periods, even if you came back each time, the system is now tracking the total number of days you've been absent. And if those days add up to certain thresholds, you get flagged. Not at the TSA checkpoint, not when you check in, but when you scan your boarding pass at the gate or when you go through the final exit control, that's when the biometric system logs your departure, and that data goes directly into your immigration file. Before 2026, biometric exit screening was only at select airports. It was random. It was inconsistent. Many green card holders could travel in and out without any biometric scan at all. But starting in early 2026, the system went nationwide. Every major airport, every international terminal, and the technology got faster. Facial recognition cameras are now at every gate for international flights. You don't even realize you're being scanned. You walk up to board the plane, your face is captured, and your exit is recorded. No paper form, no manual check, automatic, silent, instant. And here's what most people don't know. CBP is now using this exit data to calculate your continuous residence for naturalization purposes. If you're planning to apply for U.S. citizenship in the future, those exit scans are building a permanent record of how much time you've spent outside the United States. This affects every green card holder who travels internationally, but some groups are at higher risk than others. If you travel back to your home country frequently, you're being watched closely. If you've taken trips longer than 6 months in the past, even if you had a re-entry permit, your travel pattern is flagged. If you work remotely and spend significant time abroad, the system is tracking that. If you're close to applying for citizenship and you've been cutting it close on the physical presence requirement, this new data could disqualify you. And here's the group that's most at risk. Green card holders who got their status through marriage and who are now traveling abroad frequently while their U.S. spouse stays in America. USCIS is using biometric exit data to investigate marriage-based green cards. If the data shows you're spending more time in your home country than in the U.S. with your spouse, that raises a red flag for fraud. If you're a green card holder who rarely travels, you're fine. If you take short trips once or twice a year for vacation, this won't hurt you. If you've been living continuously in the U.S. for years and you're just taking a tow trip abroad, no problem. But even if you're low risk, you still need to understand how the system works, because one wrong move at the airport can create a problem that didn't exist before. This biometric exit system is already active. You're going through this system. It applies to all green card holders. It applies to all international flights. It doesn't matter if you're flying to Canada, Mexico, Europe, Asia, or anywhere else. The moment you leave US soil on an international flight, your biometric data is captured and it's stored permanently in the CBP database. For most green card holders who follow the rules, this is neutral. The system is accurate. It tracks your travel. It keeps a clean record. But here's the problem. If you've been traveling frequently, or if you've been gone for long periods, this system can work against you because now there's no gray area. Before, if you didn't get a stamp in your passport, there was no record of your exact exit date. Now, every single departure is logged with precision, and that data can be used against you in future immigration applications. If you apply for naturalization, and USCIS sees that you've been outside the US for 190 days in 1 year, they'll deny you. Even if you thought you were under the limit, the biometric exit system doesn't lie. Let's talk about how this affects your actual life. If you work for a US company, but you've been working remotely from another country, CBP now has proof of when you left and when you came back. If your employer ever gets audited, or if USCIS questions your residency, that biometric data will be pulled. You can no longer test the system by taking long trips and hoping no one notices. Every trip is on record. If you've been pushing the 6-month limit, the system knows. When you come back to the US, the CBP officer has your full exit history on their screen. They can see exactly how many days you've been gone. They can see if you've taken multiple long trips, and they can question you about it or even refer you to secondary inspection. Some states are now using biometric travel data to verify residency for driver's license renewals. If your travel pattern shows you've been living abroad, your state might flag your license. If you're receiving any government benefits, extended absences can disqualify you, and now there's biometric proof of those absences. If you're planning to buy a home, apply for a loan, or sponsor a family member for a green card, USCIS will review your travel history, and this biometric data is part of that review. Here's exactly what you need to do. Go back through your travel history for the last 5 years. Add up every single day you were outside the United States. Use a spreadsheet. Be precise. For naturalization, you cannot be outside the US for more than six months in a single trip unless you have a re-entry permit. And you must be physically present in the US for at least 30 months out of the last 5 years. If you're close to these limits, do not travel right now. If you must travel, keep trips short. No trip should be longer than 90 days. Ideally, keep it under 60 days. The shorter the trip, the safer you are. When you come back, carry documents that show you live in the US: lease agreement, utility bills, bank statements, pay stubs. If CBP questions you, these documents prove your life is in America. If a CBP officer asks you how long you were gone, tell the truth. The biometric system already recorded your exit date. If you lie, that's a serious problem. If you've ever been sent to secondary inspection, or if a CBP officer questioned your residency, consult an immigration attorney before your next trip. Now, here's where people make huge mistakes. Just because you didn't get stopped last time doesn't mean you're safe. The biometric system is building a file on you. Some people think if they don't keep records of old trips, USCIS won't know. Wrong. CBP has biometric proof of every exit. If you're planning to apply for naturalization in 6 months and you take a 4-month trip abroad right now, you just reset your clock. You'll have to wait longer to apply. Even if you have an extension letter, the biometric system might flag your expired card. Always travel with a valid green card if possible. If you move and don't update your address and then you travel, USCIS might think you abandoned your residency. Update your address within 10 days of moving. Let me talk about some high-risk situations. If you have a 2-year conditional green card and you're traveling frequently, USCIS might think you're not living with your US spouse. When you file Form I-751 to remove conditions, they'll review your biometric travel data. If you fly from the US to country A, then to country B, CBP only records your exit to country A. But if you stay in country B for months and you come back, CBP will see the gap. They'll ask where you were, Be ready to explain. Some green card holders think they need to fill out a paper form when they leave. You don't. The biometric system does it automatically. But if you're going to be gone for more than 1 year, you need a re-entry permit before you leave. If you leave without it and you stay abroad for over 1 year, you'll lose your green card. If your trip gets extended due to an emergency, document everything: medical records, death certificates, proof of why you couldn't return. Because when you come back, CBP will ask, and the biometric data will show you were gone longer than planned. If you've ever had any immigration violations, arrests, or legal problems, those will be cross-checked with your biometric travel data. If the system flags anything, you'll be sent to secondary inspection, and that can take hours. Here's what smart green card holders are doing right now. If you're planning to apply for citizenship, spend as much time as possible in the U.S. over the next 2 years. Build a strong physical presence record. Instead of taking a 3-month trip, take 3 one-month trips. It looks better in the biometric data. Write down the reason for every trip: business meeting, family wedding, medical treatment. If USCIS ever questions your travel, you'll have answers ready. If you need to care for a sick parent abroad, or if you have a long-term work assignment, file Form I-131 for a re-entry permit before you leave. This protects your green card for up to 2 years. You can request your travel history from CBP using a Freedom of Information Act request. This shows you exactly what the government has on file. If there's an error, you can correct it before it causes a problem. CBP is planning to expand biometric exit tracking to land borders. Right now, the system is mainly at airports, but in the future, if you drive into Canada or Mexico, your exit will be tracked biometrically at the border. USCIS is integrating biometric travel data into all immigration applications. When you file for naturalization, family sponsorship, or any benefit, they'll automatically pull your exit records. There won't be a need to submit travel history manually. The system will already have it. If immigration enforcement increases under current policies, biometric travel data could be used to target green card holders who've been outside the U.S. frequently. They could send a notice to appear for a removal hearing, arguing that you abandoned your residency. This is rare right now, but the legal framework exists, and the biometric data makes it easier to prove. Biometric exit tracking is now active at all major U.S. airports. Your facial scan and fingerprints are recorded every time you leave. This data is stored permanently and linked to your immigration file. If you've been traveling frequently or taking long trips, you're at higher risk. The system tracks total days outside the U.S., and that affects your naturalization eligibility. Before you travel, calculate your days abroad. Keep trips short. Bring proof of U.S. ties. Never lie to a CBP officer. If you're close to applying for citizenship, avoid long trips right now. And if you've been flagged before, get legal advice before traveling again. If you want real immigration updates, not rumors or fake news, subscribe to this channel. I cover every major policy change, every new rule, and every deadline that affects immigrants in the United States. This is not entertainment. This is information that protects your status. Hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and if this video helped you, share it with someone who needs to see it. This video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute legal advice. Immigration laws are complex and individual circumstances vary. For specific questions about your case, consult a licensed immigration attorney. Always verify information with official USCIS and CBP sources before making any decisions about your immigration status.